Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, I have a little bit of an update on Marcus Freeman and his first transfer portal go after, I guess, at Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman, of course, is the new offensive coordinator. I believe it is exactly 1 month, 30 days since he took over the job. And he's made a lot of impacts on the recruiting front and on the recruiting trail. But transfer-wise, not really. He's yet to land a defensive transfer. Is that a shock? No, not really. I guess you can call Houston Griffith Notre Dame's most likely safety that will play starting safety that will play alongside Kyle Hamilton this year. He entered the portal and then came back after not receiving a lot of love from the schools he wanted. And he ended back up at Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman helped convince him, but he was on Notre Dame. And Mike Jones, this is a big time player. Of course, Jack Cohen is the lone transfer so far. Was the starting quarterback at Wisconsin until Graham Mertz took over the show last season. And Jack Cohen got injured in training camp, took a little bit of the wait and see game, saw he wasn't going to be starting next year, and said, you know what, this is Graham Mertz's team. I'm going to go ahead and play somewhere else. He was a one-time Notre Dame lacrosse commit, and Notre Dame was close to his heart. Rutgers was showing some love. Northwestern, I believe, were some schools reaching out to him, but Rutgers and Northwestern don't compare to Notre Dame, and Notre Dame was the spot for him. So Jack Cohen, the offensive transfer, I don't really see any other players that Notre Dame could pick up on the offensive front. Maybe a wide receiver, but running back, tight end, pretty much locked down. Offensive line, maybe, but they didn't really go after Wanya Morris, I believe his last name is, from Tennessee. He was a former 5-star recruit. And that's a guy I think they maybe could have even landed. So what I'm trying to say here is Mike Jones is pretty much the lone transfer target remaining. He's from Clemson. He started a few games this year, got injured. A 4 or 5 highly touted freshman came in, took his minutes, whatever. It is what it is. He has more years of eligibility. He is a junior this year, of course, did not count. So I believe he has 3 more years since he redshirted. 2 or 3 more years left. Does Notre Dame need a linebacker? No, they don't. They have Drew White, Shane Simon, Maris Leofau. They have options at linebacker. Even Jack Kaiser, the Elkhart, Indiana native, who came in for the USF game and had like a dozen tackles, had an absolutely phenomenal game. Notre Dame doesn't need a linebacker, but when there's a starting Clemson linebacker on the market, and you have Marcus Freeman as your top dog on the defensive side of the ball, you got to go after guys like this. And I think that will also translate in recruiting. Brian Kelly knows we might not get a defensive coordinator in my tenure or for the rest of my career here that will recruit and will be as relentless in the recruiting trail like Marcus Freeman. So why don't we take 3 linebackers this year? Why don't we take 4 linebackers? And why don't we take 3 and 4 in the 2023 cycle? So you'll see big numbers, especially all around the linebackers in these upcoming years, and maybe just all on the defensive side of the ball. Mike Gelson always will push for more defensive linemen, but DBs and safeties numbers have been scarce. This year there were a good amount of corners that Notre Dame took in the 2021 class, but Notre Dame definitely needs to bulk up and get some big time talent at the cornerback and safety position, and Marcus Freeman will definitely help, even though he is primarily the linebackers coach. But back to Mike Jones, stud. Will he start? Yes, I think so. I heard UNC's been in this one, Tennessee, but Tennessee's kind of a mess. I don't think anybody wants to go to Tennessee right now. But yeah, UNC's definitely in this. He is from Tennessee. I think a lot of SEC schools, ACC schools, maybe Miami's in this one. Miami's always a big-time school for the transfer portal. And yeah, just look for schools like that. But I think at the end of the day, Notre Dame, the heritage, just having the ability to make a huge effort on a huge team, because he can make a big effort pretty much anywhere, but I wouldn't call UNC and Miami at Notre Dame standards right now. Notre Dame is a consensus playoff team. Yes, they made it 2 out of 3 years. You can criticize me in the comments for saying that, but it's true. They're a playoff team. And I just don't think Miami and UNC are. All right, that's the video, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll have more on all the transfer portal guys that Notre Dame is looking at, but pretty much right now it's just Mike Jones, and I doubt that changes. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.